Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the highly anticipated return of Cage Warriors, the place where legends are born and warriors clash. We kick off the start of Cage Warriors 2.0 with the first ever Cage Warriors 2025 tournament, and it's going to be bigger and better than anything you've ever seen before inside of Cage Warriors history. But before we get into the proper tournament, we need to have our pre-qualification matches. These preliminary bouts are where the journey begins with 14 fighters stepping into the cage in 7 fierce matchups. The winner of these pre-qualifiers will make their way into the first tournament draw, and the losers are wiped out. So the action begins before the main event even starts. But before we get into the proper tournament, let's explain how this whole thing works and how we got here for your guys' understanding. Phase 1, the Founders Draw. We started this with over a line of 100 fighters in a lineup, and from there 50 were randomly selected to compete in Cage Warriors at the very start of it all. That was our Founders Draw, our first big step into shaping this roster. We cut down the massive pool of fighters, and the other 50 out of the 100 fighters that were not selected from the Founders Draw will have a chance to come into Cage Warriors later, just not in the main tournament to decide who is Cage Warriors champion. Speaking of which, right now we need to crown our Cage Warriors champion, and whoever wins will get that sweet reward. So to start our tournament, we need to reduce the number of 50 fighters down to 32, and that's where the second phase comes in. Phase 2, the Challenger Draw. Before we even step into the main tournament bracket, we had to enter a Challenger Draw. From the original 50 selected fighters in the Founder Draw, we took 14, and they were thrown straight into the action. These fighters had no choice but to fight immediately in 7 fierce matchups. These fighters are very unlucky because if they lose their fight, they will be eliminated from the tournament before it even starts. But the fighters who win the Challenger Draw pre-qualification matches might still get randomly chosen in the Gauntlet Draw. If they get selected again, they must fight for their spot a second time in the qualification matches, and this is why they're unlucky. But if they win once more and this does happen, that will probably be added to their permanent fighter record. So as previously mentioned, when 7 winners emerge, they will join the 36 who are automatically safe from elimination at this stage and did not get drafted in the Challenger Draw, while the losers are knocked out before the tournament even begins. With that being said, now we have 43 out of the original 50 remaining and enter the next phase. Phase 3, the Gauntlet Draw and Qualifier matches. We randomly draw 20 fighters in the Gauntlet Draw, throwing them into 10 qualification matches. The 10 winners of these fights will move on to join the 23 who avoided both the Gauntlet Draw and the Challenger Draw entirely. These fighters are lucky. Anyways, that gives us a total of 33 fighters, and then Phase 4, the Last Stand. The 10 fighters who lost in the qualifier matches will get a final desperate chance at redemption in the Last Stand. Here it goes. The first 2 names drawn from a hat in the Gauntlet qualification matches will go head to head in a wild survival match. The winner claims the 32nd and final spot in our tournament bracket. The loser will be eliminated, leaving 32 fighters left. Once we have 32 fighters remaining, the tournament enters its knockout stages with intense one-on-one matches where only the strong will rise to the top. The road to Cage Warriors champion will be brutal, but only one fighter will stand victorious at the end. As these warriors step into the cage, expect nothing less than adrenaline-pumping action from stunning knockouts to heart-stomping submissions. These fighters are here to put on a show and make their mark. Get ready for intense rivals, fierce determination, and unexpected twists as the quest for Champions Glory begins. Feel the excitement build, because tonight we embark on a journey filled with passion, skill, and courage. This is Cage Warriors 2025. It's time to witness greatness. Let's get ready to fight. Gentlemen, welcome back to Cage Warriors 2.0, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being patient in that introduction. And ladies and gentlemen, just like said in the introduction, Cage Warriors 2.0 is going to be bigger and better than ever before. Coming to first, fighting out the blue corner, we have Donovan, ladies and gentlemen. This man is age 20, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, from Dublin, Ireland. 5'7" and weighing in at 180 pounds. This man is an MMA fighter. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this man was not seen in Cage Warriors 1 and he is coming to make his debut here inside of Cage Warriors 2.0. Because if you remember, in Cage Warriors 1, we mostly had people from Scotland, and that does mean, ladies and gentlemen, that the people from Scotland, they were the only people in Cage Warriors 1 other than Michael Laraz, who just came in at the end of Cage Warriors 1 as we were about to start introducing more people, but then we had a break and went into Cage Warriors 2.0, and quite a lot of the fighters from Cage Warriors 1 are coming back in to Cage Warriors 2.0, as we can see here. Our man from Cage Warriors 1, Geordie Mathewson, this man got eliminated by the Lightning Striker. Speaking of the Lightning Striker, Jack Hockey is back in again. So ladies and gentlemen, in Cage Warriors 2.0, I do not have my commentary partner, Dylan English, with me today, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we see him at some point in the future, but possibly not. But it's bigger and better and more professional than ever, ladies and gentlemen. And we will still see Dylan English at some point in the ring in Cage Warriors history. So Geordie Mathewson, he's coming back. He's been in Cage Warriors before. He's here to make his debut in Cage Warriors 2.0, and this man is age 18, standing at 5'7" tall, 169 pounds, and there you go, his background music, A-O-K-O, ladies and gentlemen. He is here to make a statement tonight. Let's get into the Cage Warriors cage breakdown. We have Shane Donovan with a 2 age gap advantage and an advantage in reach. Now let's go on to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division.
Thank you, Bruce Buffer, and introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, Shane Donovan. This man is an MMA fighter, and introducing to you next, fighting out of the red corner, Geordie Mathewson. This man is a boxer. We've got a bit of boxing versus MMA action here tonight. And in we go. Both fighters trying to find their pace early on. Not a bit of respect from both the fighters. Shocked to see it. Yes, Geordie Mathewson is in the white trunks on red gloves, and he's already got a kick on Shane Donovan, who's in the black trunks and blue gloves, ladies and gentlemen. Can Shane Donovan come back from that big left hook from Mathewson? Mathewson not playing games here tonight, going in for combos. He did say on Twitter, I'll be damned if I let anyone take my place again. And the first person I'm coming for as soon as he makes his place inside of Cage Warriors history is the Lightning Striker, Jack Hogg. Last time in Cage Warriors 1, I wasn't warmed up. I didn't know what to expect, and I wasn't at my full potential. But I am tonight, and I'm going to take Shane Donovan out because he's not taking my place. Shane Donovan said, I'm not here for chatting, Geordie. Actions, they speak louder than words, and I'm here to make a statement tonight. This is what I came from Ireland for. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here in the Scottish Bank Arena, and here we go tonight. Big jabs from both the fighters, and not too much we have seen after the combos from Mathewson at the very start there. Big kick from Mathewson, trying to find his pace. I can tell that Mathewson has got a lot stronger at fighting, at combos, at dodging, at just movement in general, at just boxing in general. He has been working on it, he has been going for his potential, and a takedown. We've seen that quite a lot from Mathewson, the takedown attempt in Cage Warriors 1, and he wasn't as strong with it, but he's just managed to take down a professional MMA fighter at a takedown, and he's holding him on the ground here quite strongly. Got a couple chest kicks, but Donovan, as expected, being the professional MMA fighter, flipping him back over, taking the ground, going for chest shots, just trying to find that motion, just trying to find that range now. Big left from Mathewson. Mathewson getting back up on his feet. It looks like no, he's moving to back control, flipping him over, And now we've got a side mount half guard, but Donovan's getting back on his feet. This isn't good for Donovan. He really wants to be on that dominant position in the ground. A squeeze from Mathewson from that clincher. Nice jab from Donovan as he finds his range. Big sweep from Donovan from Mathewson's right hook. Couple jabs from both the fighters, nothing too big. As they find their place here. Donovan's in the corner, it's not looking too big. One big strike, big left from Mathewson there. Big jab, trying to find his pace. Okay, couple of jabs. Oh, big uppercut from Mathewson. Big jabs, really wearing Donovan down. Donovan hasn't really striking back as much with a takedown attempt, just stuffing it there. Big knee to the chest and pulling out of that clinch position. Mathewson with a big left. Donovan is getting highly rocked here, ladies and gentlemen, from Mathewson. Mathewson's playing it strong. Takedown attempt stuffed again from Donovan. Trying to go for knees, trying to find his pace, trying to work it out. Big left from Donovan. Mathewson going back to that takedown, trying to bring him back on the ground, trying to gain that dominant position. Ladies and gentlemen, your boy is stuttering with all the action that is already kicked off at the start of Cage Warriors 2.0 history here tonight. Big strike from the fighters on the ground now, trying to get a pace and bit of blood on the canvas. Donovan looks like he's trying to go for a heel hook submission, but Mathewson's not letting him have it. Donovan does look like he's struggling here. Mathewson just working that dominant position. Full guard and elbow, but Donovan is doing really good at blocking these shots. Final 30 seconds in round one. What's going to happen here? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take you over as it gets the final couple seconds, final 10 seconds into round one, and we will be going into the replays. So I'm going to be taking you, ladies and gentlemen, to the boys inside the ring that know it all, Marcus and Trent at the very end here. Over to you, boys.
Horn sounds for the end of round one. All right, that's the end of the round, so the complexion of this one may have changed a little bit. You see the cut above his eye sustained in that round. One of the best cut men in the business. He'll get in there and try to close it up before it becomes a bigger issue than it already is. All right, let's now look back at some of the action from that round. He went headhunting, landed, nearly got the finish, too.
A lot of coaches tell you don't headhunt. In this case, he's been headhunting, and he landed a big enough shot to truly put his opponent on notice.
Thank you, boys, and into round two, ladies and gentlemen, of Cage Warriors history. Donovan trying to go for respect, and Mathewson not having any of it. He's being a cold sport here. Big strike to the side of the jaw from Donovan there, blocking, trying to find space. Definitely being a lot more aggressive here instead of round two with a kick. Stumbling Mathewson to the canvas. Bit of a zone out from the camera crew here. Herb Dean in the corner, big right kick from Mathewson there. 51 strikes by Mathewson, 57 by Donovan, and that is total strikes landed. Takedown attempt from Mathewson here. Donovan stuffing it, but as the boys did say, big cut on the side of Donovan's temple there. Mathewson keeps working at that. It could be all over. He needs to get the cut man in here, and he needs to have a look. Big kick. Nice clean kick from Donovan there. Trying to weaken Mathewson down. Big jab as well. Big kick, sending him to the canvas. Trying to get swings in there. In a clinch now. Going for knees to the body. Heading for knees to the body. Mathewson trying to go out with some big strikes to the side of that temple. And it isn't looking good. That keeps getting hit. It wouldn't look good for Donovan. Got him in a collar tie now. Going for knees to the face. Mathewson eating that up though. Gotta commend it for him. Oh! And Mathewson with a takedown attempt. Donovan grabbing his arm and chucking him. making him his toy at that point, throwing him on the ground. In fact, can we get a replay on that, ladies and gentlemen? Up though, gotta commend it for him. Oh! And now both fighters on the ground here. Here's Bruce Buffer watching from the side. Mathewson got the dominant position, surprisingly. Referee's called it. He said, no, you need to stand up. We need to see some more standing up action. Don't know what the ref call on that was for, but he sent them off to go again. Just standing there trying to find their pace. Big strike. Yeah, I couldn't see from that angle. I don't know what the referee choice was on that. Maybe it was a bit of foul play from the original takedown. Balance was off or something. I'm not too sure what the ref's call was on that, but let's keep it going here tonight. Big strong hooks and left and right from Mathewson here, really trying to find his pace. Donovan's side of the tempo had a serious bad cut, and he really wants to be watching that with a clean uppercut going into a clinch there. Big right from Mathewson, trying to bring him down, sweeping out of the way. Got that good head movement, got that good slip. Donovan trying to go in for some strikes. Whole face is bloody, pouring with blood. It's going to affect the canvas later. It's going to affect his ability to fight later. Big sweep from Mathewson. It is looking good from Mathewson's point of view, but I also have to say, Shane is keeping his guard, is what I was going to say, but gets sent down on the canvas from a strong left from Mathewson. Or was that a kick? Oh! And Donovan using his MMA there perfectly well. Mathewson trying to go for a takedown. Donovan flipping him over by the side of his neck, going into full guard. Mathewson grabbing, using all of his body strength to push up out of that, because that could have been dangerous. Big left from Mathewson. Donovan now bringing him to the ground. Oh! We've got a submission attempt. A neck choke. Headlock from Mathewson. Really breaking Donovan down. Donovan's trying to use all he's got from his MMA. It's just not working. Mathewson keeping him at work here. He's keeping that monster at bay. Referee splitting it up again. Probably from those takedown attempts there at the end there. Ref has called them off to go. Let's see what happens here. Big strikes from Donovan, but Mathewson's got him stumbled, going for kicks and all sorts. It's not looking good for Donovan. He goes for a jab there, just quite fills it, knocking Mathewson onto the floor, keeping his balance, keeping it upright. Final couple of seconds in round number 2. Big kick, but Donovan catches it from Mathewson. They're just off. Big jabs from both the fighters. Donovan stumbling back. Mathewson going for an attack, putting him back down on his feet. Oh no, it is not looking good from Donovan's point of view. He really needs to start guarding that head, or it could be bad. With another strike there from Mathewson. Another big strike there from Mathewson. A takedown attempt. Donovan just stuffing it there at the end of round 2. Let's get in to the camera shot. We can see Donovan there speaking to his coaches. Full side of his face, bloody, chest pouring, oozing with blood. It is not looking good. Any more of that, we'll have to get a doctor stoppage in there. And there we go. Mathewson with a strong left, I believe. And then into a kick, which Donovan, thankfully, for his sake, blocks that very smoothly, because that could have ended bad. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go, entering round number 3 in Cage Warriors history. Donovan going for respect. Mathewson not taking it. Donovan with a big left and a jab there to the chin. Mathewson just seems to be unfazed by all these attacks. Mathewson really doesn't want to be eliminated early here inside of Cage Warriors. We do know that if you get eliminated from the tournament, big left from Donovan, you will still have a chance to fight in Cage Warriors history. You won't be eliminated from Cage Warriors, as you're just eliminated from the tournament. You aren't total strikes landed, by the way, 58 from Donovan and only 47 from Mathewson. So it is looking good from Donovan's point of view. Might have had more damaging strikes, but he has had more of the damage. But as I was saying, this isn't an elimination match. This is just the starting tournament for the first, well, we drafted the first 50 for Cage Warriors history and Cage Warriors fights. But this tournament here now is ultimately just for to see who will become the Cage Warriors champion. And I think Donovan wants to make a statement. He wants to come in and rock Cage Warriors from the ground up. And Mathewson wants to show everyone that he can do better than he did last year. But ground plays from both the fighters. The ref doesn't seem to be splitting this one up this time. It does seem to be all fair in Love and War. Mathewson low and Sam, Donovan low and Sam. Both fighters getting back up on their feet. Jab from Mathewson, right hook from, jab from Donovan, right hook from Mathewson. Both fighters trying to find their pace here. Uppercut from Donovan. Mathewson eating it up. He's unfazed, trying to find that position there. Trying to work him down. Big left, just misses. Oh! What just happened there? Can we get a replay on that? Boys, we need to get a replay on that. What just happened there? He just folded like a pancake. 1 minute he was doing well. He was aiming for that position and then he goes for a big left. And what was that? An uppercut to the chin. A left uppercut to the chin that just sent him straight to the deck. There we go. One uppercut ended his night, and Mathewson was doing so good for, what was that, 3 rounds straight, but he just couldn't hold on any longer. And ladies and gentlemen, your winner, the MMA fighter with a knockout by uppercut in round number 3 from Ireland, Shane Donovan. Ladies and gentlemen, what a fight. I didn't see it coming there. Mathewson really did fight well, but it did look bad when we looked at the total strikes landed and we seen that Donovan did get more of the strikes there. There's his booming tune. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go into the judges' score. What can we see here? Mathewson with 20, Donovan with 18, Mathewson with 20, and Mathewson with 20, 20-18 all round, ladies and gentlemen. But Mathewson just got hit with that nasty uppercut at the end there. And ladies and gentlemen, that's really why you have to be careful inside of my octagons, because anything could happen. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned to Cage Warriors YouTube, Cage Warriors /YouTube.com, so you can see the next fight, which is Matthew Yuknovich versus Oliver Beaumont. And please forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, I had to say the last names wrong. We had Oliver Beaumont in the last Cage Warriors last year, right at the very end, but we didn't have Matt, so he is here to make a stint in tonight, and I'll see you all in the next one. Unlucky Geordie Mathewson, you have been eliminated from the tournament, while Shane Donovan, you advance. Congratulations, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned.